Hello, I'm Sean Lay. Wherever you're watching us from in the world, it's good to have you with us. We begin with Amazon, which has been fined almost $900 million for breaking the European Union's data protection laws known as GDPR. It's the biggest fine ever imposed under the EU privacy regulations. The online retail giant has been criticised in recent years for the information it gathers from its customers' shopping histories. Amazon has indicated that it will contest the ruling. Well, let's speak now to Andrew Rossow. Andrew is an attorney and chief executive of AR Media Consulting, and he joins us with his reaction to this story. Andrew Rossow, first of all, the size of this fine is quite something.
You're absolutely right. It's huge and it's landmark. It's never happened before.
What's the explanation, do you think, for the decision to make the fine such a steep one, given that we've had a limited number of cases under the General Data Protection Regulation? It's relatively new, and in some sense, people might argue that private companies are still feeling their way as to what is and what is not acceptable use of personal data.
You know, this law is, as you said, still new. It's only 3 years old. So in terms of the case scenarios here, we are very limited. So in terms of what went into this, I think that's something that we're going to find with this upcoming investigation, depending upon the severity of the alleged offense and what happened here.
It's presumably going to be incumbent on Amazon, if it's going to contest this fine, and it says it is going to contest it at this stage, to provide evidence to counter whatever claims the European Union and the other bodies that have brought this measure. I think it's, in fact, a part of it, it's the Luxembourg National Commission for Data Protection, which imposed the fine as an EU member country operating the General Data Protection Regulation, as all EU member countries have to do. What actually caused them to levy it?
You know, GDPR has been a model example of privacy law around the world. And looking at the extreme involvement and penetration of big tech today, having a privacy infrastructure like GDPR is a first step in really bringing ownership of data back to consumers. So GDPR was the way to do it.
The question raised, I suppose, is if consumers voluntarily give their data to private companies, whether it's because they are using services like delivery services, shopping services, whether it's because they're buying products that record data like phones or like the Alexa system, for example, which Amazon pioneered, isn't there a certain responsibility on us to be a bit more careful with the data we give up, sometimes perhaps too willingly?
Absolutely. As consumers, we buy into these privacy risks, and convenience will always trump privacy, no matter what devices we're on, no matter what electronics are, to come into existence in the future. So 100%, it is on us as well to make sure we are aware of what we are buying.
And just briefly, do you think this is the start of a rather long and bloody fight between Amazon and the EU?
I think this is an important case. I think this case is going to set further guidelines and give not just our legal landscape additional information, but consumers some guidance on how to stay out of trouble. So this is the first step, and I do predict that this will not be an easy battle.
Andrew Rossow, very good to talk to you. Thanks very much for your time.